And now for a movie that insists we let out our demons. Hello and welcome to Rotted Review of the Day, and today I am taking a look at the 2018 movie The Cleanse. This is a movie that I found to be very, very interesting. Surface level, it's just quite bizarre. I can see how it would be very possibly off-putting to some folks. But beneath the surface is a very, very sadly touching take on human nature, and so much so that it actually inspired me to give this some more thought and do a deep dive discussion. I haven't done a deep dive video in a little while now, so for those of you unfamiliar with that, these videos, these reviews are spoiler free. But then I will also have an accompanying deep dive occasionally when I feel like talking about it more openly. And that will be full of spoilers, so it might be something to check out if you have seen the movie and you want further take on it. But regardless, let's get into the actual spoiler-free review by getting into the categories. As always, 4 different categories, each one worth up to 25 points for a total possible score of 100 points. The plot of this one I gave a 21 out of 25. This had the character of Paul, played by Johnny Galecki, that was a dreamless, sad, left at the altar, kind of brokenhearted, just existing guy who happens across a television commercial for a cleansing, a spiritual, physical, all-encompassing cleansing that is free of charge. So he attends a seminar, he gets approved for it, and he gets sent out into the woods to engage in this this experiment where he is given fluids to drink and instructions for how to go about his time there, and he and the other participants of this start encountering very bizarre situations, and that is about as far into the plot as I really feel comfortable going to. Suffice it to say, it takes some really bizarre directions. And like I said, surface level, it's just weird for the sake of weird, but really it has so much more underneath that on a subtext level that's where I really appreciated it more than any other. I mean, on a strictly plot level, I thought it was actually really good, but on a subtext level, I thought it got elevated to superb. So 21 out of 25. The intent, I gave a 20 out of 25. The multiple layers of this one, it's not terribly unique. There's a recent cartoon, without getting into any kind of details on this one, but a cartoon episode that explored this as well. But this one I think was really executed very well. It was examined very closely, very carefully, with very well-crafted characters over the course of 80-90 minutes to really dive into the concept of this further than a 30-minute or 24-minute frantic cartoon could. But regardless, I really thought the multiple layers of this one worked. The characters worked very well, and the visual allegories, I guess I can call them, possibly, it was just really interesting all told. So yeah, 20 out of 25 for the intent. The acting, I gave it 22 out of 25. Johnny Galecki did a great, great, great job as Paul. He had a lot of emotional range to explore with this character, and I thought he pulled it off fairly well, especially towards the end. Anna Friel played Maggie, who was she was another participant in this one, and a bit of a not really a love interest necessarily, but more just he found her attractive, and that was actually one of the reasons that he wanted to go beyond just the seminar and actually engage in this cleansing. And I thought she did a really remarkable job, especially playing off of him. The way that their characters had such very different dynamics that worked well together, I thought were actually really, really good. And there were a few surprise a few surprise appearances in this one that I really wasn't expecting. Angelica Houston was in this one. Oliver Platt was in this one. And very, very pleasant surprises to see them in this, and they did a remarkable job all told. The technical, I gave a 20 out of 25. I'm not going to go into what I found impressive necessarily about this, because I don't really want to give anything away. Suffice it to say, I really found the practical effects in this very well done, especially given that it's a fairly small, low-budget movie. There were elements of physical effects within this one, practical effects that I really, really enjoyed. But beyond that, the visual tone and the editing of this movie was really, really good. It really had this nice sense of comical loneliness at the beginning that really served the tone of the film well and got us really introduced to the Paul character well. Some good examples of that. Box of Moonlight did that very well. The beginnings of Being John Malkovich did that also very well. This had kind of a little bit of that feel, maybe not quite as bizarre, but definitely it got the tone across very nicely. So all told, with the editing and the camera work and the practical effects, I thought, yeah, 20 out of 25. I was pretty impressed with this. So that gives us a total score of 83 out of 100 points. I really do recommend this one, but I caution folks, if you are just watching this on a surface level and you want to not necessarily dive further into thought processes of the meaning behind things, then it might come across as just bizarre until the credits roll. But as a thought experiment, this has been kind of plaguing my emotions and my thoughts since I finished watching it. And if that's not your cup of tea, then this might be one to pass on. But if you do like being challenged in that way, you do like going into it further than that, then I do recommend this one. I really, really like The Cleanse, and I encourage other folks to watch it too. But that's my take on it. That's my review of 2018's The Cleanse. Really thank you for joining me here today. Look for my deep dive discussion. If you've already seen the movie or you don't want to mind it being spoiled, then I go into a lot further detail on that one and what I found beneath the surface and so forth. But that should about do it. Again, thank you for joining me here today. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.